Okay, so now we are going to see the electric generator, which works on the principles of electromagnetic induction. This principle is also employed to produce large amounts of current for use in industry. In electric generator, mechanical energy is used to move the conductor in a magnetic field to produce electricity. Okay, so now we are going to see electric generator, wherein mechanical energy is used to move the conductor in a magnetic field to produce current or electricity. Okay, so now let's learn the setup of electric generator. Okay, so in this it consists of a rectangular coil, again the same thing, A, B, C, D, placed under the influence of magnetic field. Okay, and the arm AB is connected to the split ring B1, okay, and split ring B1, okay, and then there is arm CD connected to the sorry, they are not split rings, they are complete rings. Okay, they are full rings. Arm AB is connected to the full ring B1 and arm CD is connected to the other brush, that is that other ring, that is B2. Okay, okay, the two conducting brushes B1 and the two conducting stationary brushes B1 and B2. Okay, these are brushes, right? And the rings are R1 and R2. The full rings R1 and the full ring R2 with B2 and B1 respectively. Okay, they are internally attached to an axle. Now the axle may be mechanically rotated from outside to rotate the coil inside the magnetic field. Okay, so we have already seen the structure. ABCD, arm AB is to the ring R1 and brush B1, and CD is to the ring R2 and brush B2. Okay, inner side there is an axle which is mechanically rotated. Okay, mechanically. When the axle attached to the two rings is rotated such that arm moves up, AB moves up and CD comes down. Okay, so when the motion is in the form A, B, C, D, okay, in this case, okay, arm A, B, C, D is rotated in clockwise direction. If you apply the Fleming's right hand rule over here, the induced currents are set up in the directions along arm AB and CD. Okay, so this is the motion of the coil. Motion is in the direction arm A, B, C, D, and the current produced in that is also in the direction of arm A, B, C, D by applying the Fleming's right hand rule. Okay, so under the influence of the magnetic field and the motion of the conductor, it is producing electric current in the direction A, B, C, D. Okay, now after some time, okay, after a half rotation, the CD starts moving down. Okay, CD starts moving down, sorry, the arm CD starts moving up and AB starts moving down. Now the motion of the coil is towards DCBA, that is anti-clockwise direction. Now again applying Fleming's right hand rule, it is observed that the current also moves in the same direction, that is DCBA. Okay, DCBA. Now we can see that the directions of the induced current in both the arms change, giving rise to the net induced current DCBA. Okay, such a current which changes the direction after equal intervals of the time is called an alternating current. So we can see over here that the current is changing, direction of current is changing on its own after every half rotation. Such a current is called as alternating current. Okay, so let's revise. First, in the first case, the arm AB, the axle is rotated mechanically and the arm AB moves up and arm CD moves down. So the direction is clockwise, that is ABCD. When it is ABCD, the direction of current is also ABCD. It is going from B1 to ABCD and then to brush B2. Okay, brush B2. Then in the second case, wherein the after every half rotation the CD starts moving up and AB starts moving down, so it is DCBA. Now the current is also moving from DCBA B1 to B2. Okay, B1 to B2, and over this is called as the alternating current. So this, the whole ring type of the generator is called as AC generator, and we saw that a split ring type commutator produces a direct current over there. There the current is not reversing on its own, but over here it is reversing. Okay, so the difference between direct and alternating current is that direct current always flows in one direction, whereas alternating current reverses its direction periodically. Most power stations constructed these days produce alternating current. Okay, alternating current after every changes direction after every 100 second. Okay, that is the frequency of AC is 50 Hertz. Okay, so this is one important advantage of AC over DC, that the electric power can be transmitted over long distances without much loss of energy. This point is very important. Okay, the electric power can be transmitted over long distances without much loss of energy in AC generator. Okay, so first, motion and the current. Okay, when the motion is arm A, B, C, D, means arm A, B moving up and C, D moving down. In this case, the current is also A, B, C, D, B2 to B1. Okay, in the second case, this is the first case. In the second case, when it is DCBA, means arm AB is moving down and CD is moving up, then it is current is also DCBA B1 to B2. Okay, the current is getting reversed, so it is called as AC current, AC generator. Okay, so now we saw electric generator. Which rule does they use? It uses the Fleming's right hand rule. Okay, difference between motor and generator. Motor is converting electrical energy to mechanical energy, and generator is converting is inducing current, that is under the influence of mechanical energy, under the influence of magnetic field, it is moving. Okay, the electric generator uses Fleming's left hand rule. This one uses, electric motor uses left hand rule, and this one uses Fleming's right hand rule. That is a split ring type commutator. This is whole ring, and motor is a DC device, and this is an AC generator. Okay, so these are some of the differences. The last part of the chapter is domestic electric circuits. Okay, how are electric circuits present inside our houses. Okay, first of all, there are two wires, okay, in our house systems. That is, red insulation cover is called as a live wire and black insulation is called as a neutral wire, and the potential difference between the two is 220 volts. Okay, now two power ratings, okay, are used for our home appliances. 15 ampere current rating for appliances with high power ratings such as geysers, air coolers, etc., and 5 ampere current rating for bulbs and fans, because the current should be distributed. Okay, a safety wire, that is an earth wire which has an insulation of green color, is usually connected to a metal plate deep in the earth near the house. Okay, there is the green color wire. Okay, green is the live wire, which is the earth wire. Green is the earth wire which is connected to a metal plate inside the ground. Okay, this protects our appliances from accidental leakage. If there is any leakage of the current, the leakage directly goes to the earth. It provides a low resistance path for the current. Okay, so the next concept is very important, is electric fuse. Important component of all domestic circuits. We have already studied about this in the electricity chapter. And fuse is a circuit, in a circuit, prevents the damage of appliances and the circuit due to overloading. Now, how overloading can occur? Overloading occurs when the live wire and the neutral wire, they come in direct contact. The live wire and neutral wire, when they come in direct contact, okay, this usually occurs when the insulation of the wire is damaged or there is any fault in the appliances. Okay, and this is termed as short circuiting. Okay, now overloading can also occur when there is an accidental hike in the voltage supply. Okay, means if you connect too many appliances to one socket, okay, that socket won't be able to take that much of current and there will be a hike in the voltage supply, because of which there will be overloading caused. So two reasons for overloading is, one is short circuiting and second one is if you connect too many appliances to the same socket. Okay, so here we end with this chapter, magnetic effects of electric current. We saw many important concepts in this chapter. Okay, so very important part in exam point of view from this chapter is the electric motor, working of electric motor, working of electric generator, then the magnetic field lines, solenoid, and domestic electrical appliances are very important. Coil ABCD is placed under the magnetic field. The coil is placed between the two poles of the magnetic field such that arm AB is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Okay, and also CD is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Okay, now we can see that arm AB is connected to a ring over here. Okay, this ring, okay, this ring is not a full ring. If you can see, it is a split ring. There is a half in the middle, there is a cut in the middle. Okay, that is a split ring. AB is connected to the split ring P and arm CD is connected to the split ring Q. Okay, split ring Q. Now these halves are then connected to an insulated connection, that is an axle. Okay, and now there are two stationary brushes over here. These stationary brushes are X and Y. Okay, so now let's see how it works. We have already seen the parts. Current in the coil ABCD enters from the source battery through the conducting brush X. Okay, so from the battery, current reaches here. Okay, in the X point and flows back to the battery to the Y. Now the current, how it will flow? Current will, when it is starting from here going to X, it will flow in direction A, B, C, D. Okay, it will go in this direction A, B, C, D, and it will come back. Okay, current in the arm AB flows from A to B and in the arm CD it flows from C to D, that is opposite. Okay, now the direction of current is upwards. Okay, the direction of current is upwards and the magnetic field, we know that it is this way. Okay, if you apply the Fleming's left hand rule over here, on applying Fleming's left hand rule for the direction of a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field, we will find that, okay, when you apply the the left hand rule over here, we will find that when the current is going upwards, okay, the arm AB is pushed downwards. Okay, so the red color is for the motion. Okay, arm AB is moved upwards. Okay, this is for this side. Now over here in the other case, the current is downwards, right? The current is downwards. Okay, when the current is downwards, the motion will be opposite. Okay, the motion of CD will be upwards. Okay, the motion of CD will be upwards. So the current will go from A, B, C, D, and the motion will be the motion of the conductor will be B, A, D, C. Okay, that is this way. Okay, this way, right? It will go this way, right? This is anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise. Okay, now what happens after some time? We find that okay, thus the coil and the axle mounted free to turn about the axis, they rotate anti-clockwise at half rotation. Now after every half rotation, the Q makes contact with brush X and P makes contact with brush Y. Okay, Q will now make contact with ring Q will make contact with brush X and ring P will make contact with brush Y after half rotation. Now after this, the current in the coil gets reversed. The current which was going from A, B, C, D, it now goes from D, C, B, A. Okay, when the current is going D, C, B, A, that is upwards and downwards, the motion of the coil is opposite side, it is clockwise. Okay, when it was going A, B, C, D, it was anti-clockwise. When it is going the other way, that is DCBA, it is clockwise. Okay, this half rotation helps in the movement of the coil. Okay, we'll just say it now here. Okay, so in the first case, current and movement of coil. Okay, when the current is going from A, B, C, D, arm AB is pushed up, arm AB is pushed down, and arm CD is pushed up. This forms the anti-clockwise. Okay, now when the current is moving D, C, B, A, arm AB goes up and arm CD comes down. Okay, this forms clockwise. This clockwise, anti-clockwise together, this together helps in the motion of converts the electrical energy to mechanical energy in the electric motor. Now why does this become clockwise? This is because the split rings, okay, the split rings make they reverse the flow of the current. If there was no reversal of the flow of the current, then definitely there won't be change in the motion. Okay, so a device that reverses the direction of current, okay, a device which reverses the direction of the flow of current is called as the commutator. And over here we saw that split rings, because they make contact with the different brushes, they act as the commutator. Okay, so reversing of the current in repeated at each repeated half rotation gives rise to continuous rotation of the coil and the axis, continuous rotation of the coil and the axle. Okay, so this is how the electric motor works. Okay, so now we will see, this was an experimental one. We will see now what the commercial motors, how are they different. In the commercial motors, okay, in the commercial motors, the electromagnet is used in place of a permanent magnet. So in place of this, a strong electromagnet is used. We have already seen how an electromagnet is made. Okay, so in this case, a strong electromagnet will be used in commercial motors. Second, large number of turns of conducting wire in the current carrying coil. Okay, in this coil there will be large number of turns, okay, to increase the electric power in the coil. Okay, and third one is a soft iron core on which the coil is wound. Okay, so the coil will be wound on a soft iron core. The soft iron core together with the wound coil is called as armature. Okay, so what is an armature? Armature is when you use a soft iron core and on that you wound the coil with large number of turns. Okay, that setup is called as armature. Okay, so that setup is called as armature. It includes the soft iron plus coil, more turns. Okay, and why it is, what is the function of this? It enhances the power of electric motor. Okay, it enhances the power of electric motor. So this was electric motor, their function and the working. Okay, the next concept which we need to learn in this is electromagnetic induction. Okay, electromagnetic induction. Now we have already seen how electricity produces a magnetic field, then how magnet exerts a force on the current carrying conductor and makes it move. In this concept we are going to see whether a magnet with its magnetic field can induce current in a circuit. Okay, can induce current in a circuit. Okay, so before explaining the part, I would like to say, I would mention that the device which is used to detect current is called as a galvanometer. Okay, the device which is used to detect current is called as the galvanometer. Okay, so now this is a setup. This is a paper, okay, on which the coil is wound and there is no circuit over here. It is just connected to a galvanometer. Okay, galvanometer. Now in the vicinity of this, a magnet is placed. Okay, a magnet is placed, keeping its north pole towards the end B of the coil. Okay, now see, so first you take a coil of wire AB and having a large number of turns and connect it to a galvanometer, then place a strong bar magnet towards its pole. Now when the magnet was placed towards the pole, there was a momentary deflection. Momentary means it was a sudden fast deflection. Okay, now deflection means it is indicating current in the circuit. Now the north pole was withdrawn back away from the magnet, away from the coil. Okay, it was taken away from the coil. Okay, now the deflection was seen on the opposite side. Okay, when it was withdrawn on the other side, the deflection was seen towards the other side. Okay, when it was taken in front, it was on the opposite side. Now if you just place the magnet over here stationary without moving it, there is no deflection seen. Okay, now what does this tell us? What we can conclude from this? Okay, we can conclude from this that when, okay, let me first tell you the observations. Okay, so first observation is that when the magnet is placed, there is a momentary deflection in the galvanometer needle. Okay, momentary deflection. When the magnet is pulled away, deflection is on the left. Okay, and the third one, when the magnet is placed stationary, we see that there is no deflection. Okay, there is no deflection. Now what does this mean? This, okay, when there was it was stationary, there was no deflection. Only we can see that when the magnet is placed and when it is pulled away, there is deflection. So these two observations, from these two observations we can conclude that this was moving, magnet was moving, and that time only it shows deflection, but when it was stationary there was no deflection. So from this we can say that this suggests that a moving magnet can induce current in a circuit. Okay, a moving magnet can induce current in a circuit. If you place a magnet, it will create a magnetic field around it, but it will not induce a current because it is not moving. Okay, so moving means the magnetic field is changing. Okay, only if you place a magnet and there is a magnetic field around it, that won't help the induction of current. Okay, but when you are moving the magnet, you are changing the magnetic field. Okay, so you are changing the magnetic field that will induce the current. Okay, moving magnet will change the magnetic field which will induce current. Okay, yes, so this is called as electromagnetic induction. Okay, so now this is how the electric current is induced in the circuit. Okay, now in this case, okay, now we will do another experiment wherein there is a coil. Okay, there is coil 1 having large number of turns, where it is connected to a circuit, it is connected to a battery, and there is a key. Okay, and there is coil 2 with a galvanometer. Okay, the coil 1 is called as the primary coil. Okay, coil 1 is called as the primary coil and coil 2 is called as a secondary coil. Okay, now what was seen over here? They've put the key and there was current produced. As the current in the first coil changes, okay, the magnetic field associated with it also changed. Okay, so when the key was put, okay, when the key was closed, at that time only there was deflection. When the key, okay, when the key was removed, when there was no current in the circuit, there was no deflection. But exactly when the key is put, okay, there was deflection in the needle. Okay, again when the key was removed, there was deflection in the needle. Okay, then in the third case, what they did is that they increased the amount of current through the circuit. Okay, they increased the amount of current. In that it was observed that as the current was increased, there was more deflection in the needle. Okay, so from this we got to know that there is current got induced by coil 1 into coil 2. Now why did current got induced? We have seen that over here the magnetic field is inducing current, right? But over here we have electric coil. How is it electric coil is producing a current in the other coil? This is because this coil, okay, this coil is producing